Welcome to From Our Living Room to Your Living Room with AspireTV. Today, our guest is Tiffany Harris. Welcome, Tiffany.
Hi. Hello.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Well, people in the mental health industry, I'm sure it's tough to get them to actually join us right now because I'm sure there's a lot of people depressed or saddened and all that.
Oh my goodness. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The whole change of the world.
Right, that's one of the biggest things. Well, let's start out, Tiffany. Where were you born? Where were you raised? Big family, small family?
I have a small family. It's just me, my brother, my mom, and my dad, and my stepmother now. But I was born in Hartford, Connecticut, and I lived there for a little while. My dad worked for IBM, and as we joke that I've been moved. So we moved around every 2 to 3 years when I was younger, but I spent the majority of my childhood in Rockville, Maryland. And so I was there for, oh, goodness gracious, probably about 10, 15 years. And then I moved out here when I was about 23 to try to kind of help take care of my mom. Out here is Cape Cod, Massachusetts, to help take care of my mom who was diagnosed with multiple myeloma. So we did some work with that.
Well, okay, so where'd you graduate high school? In Maryland?
I did in Rockville, Maryland, and then I came out here and I did college and I graduated from UMass in 2007 and then again in 2011 with a master's in clinical psych.
And can you tell us what your majors were?
Absolutely. As a master's degree, it was clinical psychology, and as an undergrad, I just did liberal arts because I thought originally I was going to do child advocacy and kind of fight for the kids a little bit. But then as I just kind of went on with it more and more, I just realized that I really love the psychology and just dealing with, the way that people think and behave. And I just saw so much need for that. So I love working with kids. I love working with families. And that's the majority of what I do.
Okay. Was there a certain person or that something in your life that influenced you to choose that field?
I think it was life all around. Oftentimes in psychology, we joke around that everybody's in the big book. So we all kind of go there to try to figure out who we are and where we came from and all that fun stuff. So I just think through the course of my life, I moved around a lot. I met a lot of different cultures and people and
what was that like
different ways of life. So
I'm sorry to interrupt. What was that like moving around a lot? People want to know. Like I grew up in a town called Billerica, Massachusetts, right? So we didn't move around.
Okay.
I stayed in Billerica, right? But what's it like someone like you that moves place to place?
It's so funny that you say that, especially Billerica, because I live in Massachusetts and Billerica is to me like a foreign land because I've never been there. Everybody, it seems, that lives in Massachusetts stays where they're from and they hang out with those people. They know their crew. It seems like people are very local. And my mom's from this area. So I got lucky in that sense where I have a lot of family, but friends wise, it was a brand new world, because I'm used to having friends all over the country, really. Right. And I'm used to kind of touching base with them, online, by phone, not really seeing them all the time or hanging out, going to barbecues like, people in Massachusetts are kind of used to doing. So it was different for me. It was really different coming here and having people be so local and so used to having their family and friends be a part of their everyday lives always.
Yeah,
as well as I came with a little bit of
like
an
elementary school, right? Yeah,
exactly. Everybody knows everybody, and then they're like, "Who's Tiffany?" So it took me a while to get used to the world. Oh, trust me, allergies. I know. It just took me a while to get used to this world, and I think the world to kind of get used to me around here too. But it's different, but it's really cool, and I think I'm starting to get used to the life around here. It's a little different.
Okay. Now, once you graduate college, did you move back somewhere or did you stay here?
No, it's funny because I actually thought I was going to move back. But when I came here, I was actually pregnant with my son. And so I came with pregnant with my son. I stayed with my mom and I went back to school then. I was kind of through with my AA and then I went back for the last 2 years. And in that period of time, I realized I want to do something with this. I want to go places. I want to, I kind of just want to build. So I never went back to Maryland. I stayed here and followed through with school, and I've raised my son.
That must have been tough. Were you a single mother?
Oh, you're freezing.
I know, you are too. I can hear you, but the internet for some
Oh,
reason
there you
is
go. You're moving.
freezing up a little bit. Oh, there you go. Good. Sorry about that, folks. So let me ask you, were you a single mother?
Yes. So that was a huge thing, is that when I moved out here, yes, I moved out deciding that I was going to pretty much raise my son on my own. Me and his father just were two different roads, really. And so it was a perfect opportunity because I came out to really try to help my mom and try to, uplift her with her last, time with the cancer, but also to have her have an opportunity to meet her grandson. And this was
Which is
going to be
nice.
her first, and and just have that opportunity. And more of a blessing to me, she was a school teacher and a principal, so she was able to help him with all the early education stuff while I was still going to school. So more than a blessing to have her around and being able to do that with her. So that was really
Okay.
awesome.
Now,
Yeah.
so as a single mother, you could have broke down, collected off the system, and said, "I'm going to just collect welfare, whatever. I'm a single mother."
Mhm.
What was your? Do you think it was your mother that inspired you to go, "Hey, listen, I'm going to go and get an education, and I'm going to make some myself." Being a single mother doesn't have to be a crutch of mine, but can inspire me
Amen.
more because I want to be more for my son.
Yes, 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 yes. I so many reasons that I decided, especially with my son. My son for me was everything, everything. He literally was at both of my graduations. When he was little, he had psych books read to him. It was literally like he was a part of my growing up through the whole process. But it was true inspiration by tons of people. I mean, even just watching not having his father in his life, to instill in him what it is to be a man, what it is to have a single mother, to see that hard work, to see that education, to see just it all pull off. I come from a pretty educated family myself, so not to graduate from college was pretty much not an option. But I could have, like you said, decided to sit back, just collect and kind of just ease back. But I really felt that I needed to pull forward. I had to do something more for my son, but I also kind of wanted to show my mom that I had it in me too. So it was pretty cool to do it, and I'm pretty surprised I did it.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
That's kind of inspiring
Thank
to those
you.
single mothers out there that are a single mother raising their children. They can go back to school. They can make something
Yes.
of themselves. They don't have
Yes.
to sit on their butt and collect. You know what I mean? Now, tell
Amen.
me, since you graduated, it looks like you have 2 offices. Now, did you do that all on your own?
So it's been a wild ride, I have to tell you. If you had asked me a year ago if I was going to do this, I would have never thought. A lot of people say you end up leaving a boss rather than a job. And so the last agency I worked for, it kind of went that way. And I learned a lot from her in the sense of how to set a ground and a foundation for a business, and the fact that I can really do a lot of this on my own. As well as there were things that I wanted to do to kind of highlight some of the mental health issues that are going on today, and show more, a little more focus to those, and not to be, not to be so generalized, shall I say. You know what I'm saying? So I have the honor of one of my offices in Yarmouth, and I rent that out from a wonderful group of people that's called the Psychological Cape Cod Collaborative. And so they're out there doing their thing. They're fabulous doctors, and they let me rent an office from them. So I have worked on Cape Cod for almost 10 years. So I have just a whole bunch of different clients and stuff like that out there. So I wanted to give them that option. The one in Wareham is my baby. That's Harris Holistic. And so that's the one that I do the majority of my practice at. And I think I also was kind of telling you about, I'm kind of into the spiritual motivation, the women empowerment, just
So we
getting
definitely got to
people
get you in that group.
socialized. Yeah. Oh, I would love to join. Love to join. I think it's great. I think that's a huge, huge need right now, is just women lifting up women. We have a lot of cut downs and a lot of things that we already have to face as women, period. And then add the stigma of being women and going, and having to say, hey, let's lift each other up rather than pull each other down. And I think that's major. So I applaud you. And I really, really thank you for doing that, because women need that format. Absolutely.
I have teamed up. I have an event business called New England Vendor Events.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, thank you. I have teamed up with 2 other people that own bigger event businesses where they get like 30,000 people, 40,000 people attendees, where I'd be lucky if I get a few hundred, right?
Right,
So
sure.
we're teaming up a partnership of 3 of us, and we're going to be traveling next year, 2021, 2022, but we are doing a few this year. We're going to be doing women empowering women conferences. We're starting in New England, but next year we'll be throughout the country.
Amazing.
Yes, the one in Boston, I'd love for you to come out and speak. I think you'd be very inspirational.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
We'll talk
Absolutely.
more off screen.
Absolutely. Send me some information.
I definitely will. So with that, now you've been teaching. I mean, you've been on the Cape for 10 years, you said, so you get a lot of clients. How many altogether between both offices would you say, how many clients you would have?
Oh my goodness gracious. So since Harris Holistic is a baby and it's just starting, literally the day that I opened my doors, I was walking in with 25 clients. So yeah, which a lot of people go, oh my gosh, that's already full time. But the reality is there are so many people in need, and there's so much that there needs to be done. So I consider myself to be a behavioralist at heart. So my mission would be to sit down with you and kind of set your goals, and then we set mini goals. So hopefully we can talk about some of it, work it with some of it, but I hope that a lot of it's going to be done within you, right? So you can go home, you can work in your world, you can do things in your life, and you don't have to depend on Tiffany to do, just weekly things. There may be times in our lives where we get stressed or crisis, where we need, that interaction a little bit more. But my goal is to set you free, right? I tell people all the time, my mission is for you to fire me. Right?
Exactly. You want them to get better and feel better about themselves in order to stop seeing therapists. I get it. Sometimes people overdo. It always helps to see a good therapist. Why? You know what I mean?
Every good therapist needs a therapist.
There was a famous saying, I forget what it was. It was a cute saying about something about a therapist, but anyways, I forgot it now. Doesn't matter. Move on. I used to see a therapist many years ago, and I used to love it. It was like my bitch session once a week. You got somebody to bitch to. You know what I mean? So you're not bitching at everyone else. You excuse my language, but it was my one time where I could just bitch for an hour, not worry about it. It wasn't going anywhere. I can bitch about this person, that person, why this, why that, and then leave it alone. However, I haven't seen that in years, but it was a good
Absolutely. Feeling. It feels good, and you may not need that all the time, but you may go through periods of life where you do, right?
Exactly.
And so it's great to have somebody that's confidential, you can dump it on, can give you a little goal and direction and help you out. It's wonderful. You don't know how many marriages and families and probably children's lives have been saved with just a quick event, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, let's talk about the current situation let's over the past few weeks. Now, you wrote quite a lot in your little bio there, so speak. People want to hear this. They want to know. Make them feel comfortable.
I am very concerned about the mental health of the world today. I know that we have gone from what we consider a normal, 9 to 5, working out in the world, that type of stuff, to this new social distancing. But even more than us getting bored in the house, this is very concerning for us that already have mental health issues. There are things that are going on. People are unfortunately passing away from this horrible event. So bereavement, very high, right? We have first responders that do not get the opportunity to pull away from what they're doing. This is a constant bombardment.
Hold on a minute there. Funny you say that. Do you know in a nursing home, I just read online, at a nursing home, none of the employees showed up. None.
Oh,
nurses, everything. So somebody was able to, nobody. Like, who does that? I understand you're afraid, But who doesn't show up for, like, those poor elderly? They had to use all the ambulance to get them out of there because they had no
God
staff.
forbid.
It was a nightmare.
Wow.
God.
It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And I have a couple of nurses and a couple of doctors that I already meet with, as clients as well. And it's really scary what they report, and I know a lot of them are even scared to go home to their families at night because they don't know if they're, what they've caught or what they have, or, so I know that that's building as well. And I know that people,
you know what I mean?
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes. And not everybody has the opportunity to, do telemedicine where we can sit here and have these conversations. Some people live in areas where maybe they don't have internet access. Maybe they don't have access to a neighbor that's even close enough to help them in certain situations, right? As well as, right now, normally the world's kind of warming up. So we're kind of used to going out and being a little bit more free. And this confinement is definitely not our norm. I think a lot of people are going to need support. And I want to be able to support as many people as possible. Clearly, I'm only one person, so I can't, go out and save the world. But I would like to be able to help any first responder or anybody that's really feeling effects on the front line. I know they don't have 45 minutes to sit down with me and, go through the whole treatment plan. But I feel like, just like we were talking before, those 20-minute vent sessions, just to be able to be like, please, what do I do? How do I get some deep breathing in? Maybe I just need some kind words. Maybe I need some encouragement. Maybe I just need someone to hear how scary this is. And they're not going to tell me what I need to do next. Right?
Okay, so I know there's one of my friends, I have many friends, a few of my friends, I should say, that are designers they've been making masks, right? So a lot of my friend designers, and they've been doing wonderful. One of them is where he's doing like 15, 16, 17-hour days. He's overtired, he's overworked, but he's feeling good about what he's doing. He doesn't want to hear how much of an angel he is. He wants to say, hey, to my fellow designers, are you as burnt as I am? And just crying, but you have to keep going. What do you say to someone like my friend?
Oh my God. First and foremost, thank you. Thank you, because we need people like you. And I know that sitting there for 15, 16, 17, maybe even 24 hours at a time, you feel like I have to do this because there's that next person. But it is critical, absolutely critical, that you stop and you take I don't care if it's just 20 minutes, 1 hour, 3 hours if you can, to pull away. Do something for yourself, whether that is step outside and just take a nice, safe, deep breath of air, or, whether you get some sleep, make sure you're eating
but he's not sleeping. And so and I think that's what's making him more tired of doing all these long hours.
Oh, yeah.
But definitely he has to step away for a couple hours and get away from the sewing and him and Danny and make sure that they take something for themselves, some time for themselves.
Yes,
you
have to,
or something serious will happen.
Yes. A lot of people will stop and they'll be like, oh, well, I don't want to be selfish. I don't, well, it's not being selfish. It's called self-care, right? And that's critical. If you already said he's not sleeping, that's our reset. That's our reset. That's our reset. That's our whole reset, body's reset. We have to go into a mode to let our brain say, okay, right? And as much as we think we are doing that when we sit there and we meditate and we have these moments in time, we're not doing it enough. Not in this world. I'm sure if he's working or any of them are working for 16 hours, you can't turn off your brain enough, right? As well as, what are we intaking, right? Are we drinking water? Are we eating good foods? Right? Because oftentimes when we're overworked, we end up getting, a couple extra cups of coffee, or maybe that quick fix or whatever it is, rather than taking that time to say, what's my body saying? Do I need that protein? Do I need those veggies? Right? Because all of that's critical.
So, all right. So, give us, because I know we're going to be cutting this short soon, right? Because you got another client. But tell us, and briefly, like me, I don't go out at all, right? I haven't gone out. I'm sticking to the program. They said stay home. I'm staying home. I do go out to a chiropractor. I wear the gloves, the mask, and everything. I have to, because I am in a lot of pain right now. I refuse to go to the hospital. I have a pinched nerve. So
Yes, ma'am.
I can't even lift a plate right now, right?
Ooh,
So yeah, it's very
yes.
painful, and I'm not on meds or anything, and because I don't want to go to the hospital because I don't want to be near the coronavirus. So I have
There you
a
go.
retired chiropractor that's been seeing me, so I can get some relief, right? So
That's
that's the only time I
excellent.
go out. I go out, he
Mm.
fixes me 10 minutes, I come home and I ice. But so people like me or people that are so scared and when is it gonna end? And I got depressed at times and probably because of the pinched nerve, right? But
Oh, absolutely.
you know, but I want. What are you saying to us? What do we need to do to get out of this funk or get out of ourselves?
You know, I think a lot of it is distraction. First and foremost, don't sit there and watch the news. Don't fill up on all the what's happening right here, right now. You know, if you need a touch just to know what's happening in your world today, great, but then step away, right?
Yeah.
Having a pinched nerve, of course, that's going to make it more difficult because you're more sedentary. You've got to kind of be there a little bit. But you've chosen a great idea where you use it online and you're talking to people and socializing, which is perfect,
I
right?
started
And
doing that because of I was getting in this funk and I was depressed because of my arm and my shoulder. Well, I have it all the way down on my shoulder and I mean my shoulder, my back.
oof,
It's very painful. And so it's week 3 now and I feel like I'm starting to get relief a little bit, not much.
squirrely,
Anyways, so
yeah.
I was going to I said, I gotta do something. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna start doing interviews for my talk show. It's been around about
Perfect.
7 years, and why not start doing my interviews? And so that's where I started with. So you know, I've done about 7 of them, and I've got about 35 more lined up. And I'm not gonna do them every day. I have, you know, I've got other things. I've got once I can start cleaning. I've got a house that needs to be organized, and I've got
There you go.
3 more books coming. I've got to write for my children books, right? So I have
Oh,
enough I
I
gotta
love it.
do.
We've got
Yeah,
a lot to talk about then.
so I'm always doing something. So, anyways, that's why I chose to do this.
Excuse me.
But it isn't about me today. It's about you. So I was just explaining my situation.
No, you hit it right on the nose. I think that's perfect. You know, there's a lot of things that people have been saying, oh, if I just had the day, if I just had the time, make that list. We have some time right now,
Yeah.
right? And so it is an option, and it's amazing how much, you know, apps and online and technology that we have. So, I mean, you really could learn a new language. You really could, you know, pick up a brand new skill. We have enough time to do these things. However, if you really think about all the things that you wanted to do, now you have the option to kind of do those, you know, as well as excel in what you already do. So if you see a chiropractor, for instance, maybe they're going to give you some exercises to do. You do those exercises at home, or, you know, maybe you start yoga or small stretches or things like that, you know, simple, small things. But if you do baby steps now, eventually you're going to look back and go, oh my goodness, I went more than 3 miles.
Mhm.
Right?
Right.
So
I
it's
started
just,
walking too.
amen.
I did
Right?
go for a walk
And get
this
out
week.
there and do things, right?
I
Social
walked 1
distancing is
mile.
about, yes, keeping distance and being safe, right?
Yep.
But you can go outside and you can breathe fresh, safe air, right? And I think that's really important for people to do. Get the sunshine, get your feet in the ground, get some good grounding, just listen to those birds, right? Remember what we are from, which is the nature and the world. To be connected like that, it's such a good, crisp feeling, right?
Now-
So I think a lot of people just need to reconnect to that and turn off that TV.
That's what I stopped doing. I started fading. I've been taking myself off of the social media and such and the news just to get some break. Now, if people want to find you or use your services, if they need them now, because I mean, if I needed a therapy session, I'd definitely call you because you'd be great. You know, why don't you talk
Thank you.
where your office is located, or how they could reach you through a Zoom interview or session or whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am doing Zoom interviews. A lot of my clients seem to find this easiest and the best way to do it. So most people, the quickest way to reach me would probably be through my email, which would be tharris@harrisholistic.org. And so anytime anybody can go ahead and just reach out to me. I do take insurance. I'm also private pay. I am offering 3 free 20-minute mini sessions for any first responders or anybody, even your designer friends that are, you know, making the masks, please feel free to let them know if they need a COD, which is I call crisis of the day, right? To kind of come on over and just need somebody to vent to that's not going to say, oh yeah, just double thumbs. It's just going to be ears. Come on down, right? So again, I'm Tiffany Harris. I'm a licensed clinician, and you can find me on Facebook under Harris Holistic, and I can definitely get you, you know, linked in with my email and my phone number. I do have an office in Yarmouth, and I have another one in Wareham, and I am so blessed to have spoken with you today. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you so much, Tiffany, for joining us from our living room to your living room from Aspire TV. We'll see you all soon.